The goal is to be awake, both in our day and in our dreams. This is your dedicated co-host, Skull Babylon, and on this episode of Paradigm Shift Radio, we cover the ever-popular topic of dream exploration, lucid dreaming, and astral projection, along with aiming to provide a general understanding of what dreams are and the benefit of becoming more in tune with them. We also discuss some practical tips you too can immediately bring into your practice. This will not be the last time we talk about dreams, so in the meantime, do what you need to do to stay disciplined and stay consistent with your own meditation and dream exploration habits. So keep floating down the stream because merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Join us on Facebook at facebook.com/paradigmshiftradio. Give us a review and rating on iTunes. Tune in for future episodes, continue the conversation with some friends, and enjoy the show.
Wake up, wake up. You've forgotten who you are. You've traveled far from home. You come from the stars. But the stars aren't just above you. There's the one in your eyes, that echo your golden self, the you who sees through the lies. Because you came here to learn, to see beyond the illusion, a truth about what this is, hyperdimensional transfusion. Each day a new experience, to unlock an old memory, that this body is a vehicle, an extension, an accessory. Each one of us is light, vibrating to create this form, so that we can act and do our part, to be a spark in this storm. Because ripples create waves, so be the change you wish to see. Act from the heart. Love is the key. But don't stop there. There's so much that you can learn about this realm and those beyond it. The key is waiting to be turned. Open your eyes to what's around you. It's hidden in plain sight. Sacred G and Fibonacci. Infinity, unfolding light. Manifest your intention with the power of your mind. Meditate your way to freedom, and freedom you will find. This isn't New Age jargon. This is something that is real. This is something that is lived, something you can feel. But this is just my art, so don't believe it from me. Go journey on your own, and share what you see. As a collective conscious being, together we will grow. You create your own reality. As above, so below. Hello out there to all my international friends. This is your fellow seeker, Skull Babylon, and you're tuned in for another consciousness shifting episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. So just before we even get started, just a big shout out to everyone in the chat, and if you guys can just confirm with me that everything is sounding okay on your end. I'm pretty sure everything's coming through. Just a little side note, a little bit of technical difficulty. I actually had a little problem with my primary laptop and had to switch over last minute to another one and install Skype and get everything running. But if things are good, then I guarantee you we got a pretty awesome show lined up tonight. If you have been paying attention to the Facebook feed, you would have seen that tonight's episode is going to be focusing around dream exploration, lucid dreaming, and astral projection. So this is a very, very popular topic, notably because everybody dreams, so it's something that everybody can relate to in some way or another. And I think talking about dreams is a great introductory topic to be able to share with people who may be new to some of these paradigm shifty ideas. So we're going to get into that pretty quick today. I guarantee you that. Just before we do that, just a little bit of community news, and this is going to be like the shortest community news that I can make it. And after that, we'll get people to call into the air, and we're probably going to be having a guest co-host on tonight as well. And again, I'll explain that in 1 second. So what you just heard at the beginning was actually a poem that I had done a little while ago, and I'll include a link for that in the show notes. It's called Wake Up, and there is a YouTube version as well, which I'll post in the live chat. So if anybody's interested in checking that out later, you can do that. And just in terms of new paradigm shift communities that have emerged across the world, for those of you who may be unfamiliar, I suggest maybe go back and listen to the intro of a previous paradigm shift episode where we explain it and in a little bit more detail. But the long story short is paradigm shift communities are individual communities emerging all across the world that are part of a collective of people who are trying to bring consciousness into this world and day and age that we live in by creating physical groups and creating discussion and being there to support one another. A lot of and we'll get into talking about this tonight, a lot of the challenge with this stuff, I mean, aside from just researching it, when you get into the practical side of it, the big challenge is consistency. So as a community, it's great to be able to have each other to help each other stay on our path, so to speak. So new paradigm shift communities that have emerged. You can check the current ones out at paradigmshiftcentral.com/directory. The newest ones that have emerged, this is pretty cool, actually, and I'll just explain it real quick. This is for Paradigm Shift Tri-City, Tennessee, and the interesting part about this is that the person who is the moderator of the page, they contacted me back in the day, and they had basically another page up in place that was kind of localized to their community, and that page was called Love Expansion. So they actually decided that they liked the whole paradigm shift thing and basically sort of remodeled their page to turn what they currently had into an official paradigm shift community to be part of the family. So their Facebook is facebook.com/loveexpansion, and again, that's for Paradigm Shift Tri-City, Tennessee area. So check that out. Very cool indeed. Other paradigm shift that emerge is Paradigm Shift Puerto Rico, so I'll post a link for that in the live chat as well. So anybody who might happen to be in that area, and that is obviously one of the many paradigm shift communities that speaks more than just English, which is something that is wonderful to see, is to see this whole process taking place in multiple languages. So that's pretty cool. And the next paradigm shift community that emerged was Paradigm Shift Maine. So congratulations to the guys behind that, and check that out if you're in the area. And when these new paradigm shift communities start up, it's always good to just sort of be there to like and support them, even if you aren't actually in the area that way. So maybe a person who you might know who might be in the area might see that you liked it at the very least, or just promote ParadigmShiftCentral.com or Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftCentral, because a big part of this thing is you guys engaging other people with the whole paradigm shift concept. Like, if you want help in your community, it's up to you to be able to go out there and start making those connections within your physical community as well as digitally online. So sending it to your friends in the area, it's just obvious stuff. What I would like to see out of this whole paradigm shift thing, so to speak, is for each of us to be able to be self-reliable, self-sustainable in that sense, that, you know, if need be, we could really just take care of ourselves. So the paradigm shift communities, as much as they are to help each other, they're also very individual in the sense that they aren't relying on someone else to make it happen for them. We at Paradigm Shift Central will help you, but again, like the grunt work like needs to take place by you. So go out there, do it, and if you need paradigm shifting tools, ParadigmShiftCentral.com/plant-a-seed. Download some of the business cards for that, and those will also help as well. So one last paradigm shift community to emerge, and maybe there are some people listening to this who will be able to give a direct shout out to, but this is for Paradigm Shift Fanshawe, and Fanshawe is Fanshawe College in London, Ontario. So for people who are going to be in the college and maybe listening to this, because I did post it in the college student group page, so to speak, we're going to be having meetings coming up on January 22nd and then again on February 5th, so every 2 weeks. And Paradigm Shift Fanshawe is actually where the whole paradigm shift thing started out, and it's pretty cool to be able to go back there and connect with our roots and really reach out to the students. So just a reminder, if you have a college that you're in, if you're in a community, it's a great place to start up a paradigm shift community. You're in the middle of your target audience, so to speak. So that's always a good tactic to utilize, you know, those type of locations, and create it as a club. And we actually have club funding that we get to be a club, so we can pay for the printing material that we need to put out. And some of the other money that we're also using is for free punch and pie. So that was actually something that when Paradigm Shift began, we put up posters around the school, and it was like free punch and pie and like metaphysical philosophy discussion. And so people would show up for the pie, and then they would stay for the, you know, philosophical insight, so to speak. So if you have the budget, free punch and pie is always another great tactic to be able to get those people who might need that little bit of the extra pull to bring them into something that they are otherwise unfamiliar with. And obviously it's a South Park reference there, so adds a little humor to the mix as well. So that's all there is for new paradigm shift communities that are emerging. And if you're interested in starting up your own, again, go to facebook.com/ParadigmShiftCentral, and you'll see some tips on the top of the page. And if any of the community admins who are listening to this, just a reminder to try to share the Paradigm Shift radio shows through your pages. If we can get into the habit of that, it's just going to help add everything up in a very exponential sort of manner. And if you need business cards, feel free to message the facebook.com/ParadigmShiftCentral site, like the Facebook page, and put in a request for business cards, and we can make sure that we get some custom business cards to you guys if you need those. So that's all there is community news-wise, and if you're interested in helping support the Paradigm Shift communities and just the cost of the radio show, as always, ParadigmShiftCentral.com/donate is the place you can go to, and there's also a separate account up there for the my own personal donation sponsorship fund, so to speak. I think sponsoring is the appropriate word, just to help me sort of take care of the things that I need to take care of, and to continue to be able to do what I'm going to do. Like, I'm doing it regardless. Like, even just today, pretty much I was like in paradigm shift mode kind of first thing this morning when I woke up, and I was just doing like a lot of web maintenance and stuff like that and getting ready for the show tonight. So it's something that I won't be able to do 9 to 5 in the coming future, but I'll be doing a lot of paradigm shift stuff on my spare time. So it help encourage me to do that. And I just can't thank you enough for any support that you want to send my way. So add me on Facebook if you want to, or if you haven't yet, facebook.com/SkullBabylon. And just even if people are already doing this, some people are like sending me crystals. So anything that you feel might be able to aid me on my journey, feel free to get in contact with me. And it's appreciated. Even just like the thought is all that counts. So from there, let's get into the meat of the matter here, and that is talking about dream exploration. Now, just give me a couple seconds here because, okay, I'm going to, 1 second here. So what we're going to be doing tonight, I'd like to get on a lot of people on tonight, and since we're focusing around one topic, it's going to be a little bit different. And what we would like to be able to do, along with being able to share stories tonight about dream experiences and discussing the benefits of dream exploration and how to experience lucid dreaming and what is lucid dreaming versus astral projection, and just sort of getting a better understanding, sort of like a context for what's happening when we're dreaming. We're going to be talking about that tonight. So if you're interested, call into Skype. Pretty much call in through Skype or call in through a regular phone. You can call in now is the point that I'm trying to get across. And you can call in with a regular phone at 347-539-5493, or call in the easy way using Skype if you have Skype working on your computer, and scroll up to the top of the Blog Talk page. You'll see a little Skype icon. Press that. It's going to launch your Skype application. Press 1 on the keypad, and we'll know that you're ready from there. So we'll get into the discussions of dreams ASAP, and we'll let it run throughout the entire show pretty much. If it branches off to other topics, that's cool too, because it usually does that. One topic sort of blends into another topic, and this is really about connecting the dots. So without further ado, I'm going to actually bring on a person who's going to be co-hosting with us tonight. He's going to be a bit of a guest co-host, and you've heard me offer the opportunity for people to guest co-host in the past, and this person, this individual, Shane, he actually contacted me ahead of time and just said, hey, would you be interested in having another co-host? And kind of here we are now. So I haven't actually talked to Shane before on Skype or just ahead of time, but he sounds like he's got definitely a lot to offer in terms of the topics of dreams. So we'll be bouncing some ideas back and forth, and presuming that things are technically okay with 2 people on the air, we'll try bringing 3 people on the air. And just one more thing. If you've been listening to the show in the past, you know that my microphone has a tendency to sort of glitch out, so to speak. If anything, you can think of this glitching out process of my microphone almost as psychic training, so to speak. So you'll hear me say stuff, and then it might cut out for a bit, and then use your intuitive nature to try and pick up on what I might be saying at those moments when you can't actually hear me. So just something to sort of keep in mind. If and when it does happen, just sort of use it to sort of tune your own abilities, so to speak. So all right, now let me just double check and okay, yeah, so we got who we need in the queue. So tonight on Paradigm Shift Radio, talking about dreams, dream exploration, astral projection, and let's get the ball rolling. So I'm going to bring on Shane, and then shortly after that, we'll bring on the next caller from there. So Shane, if you're ready, we're going to bring you onto the air now. Hello, Shane, can you hear us?
Hello. How's it going?
Hey, dude.
Everybody.
Hey. Yeah, say hello to everyone out there in the internet lands, past, present, and future. So. And just for the people listening, whereabouts are you calling from?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay, cool. Now, are you affiliated with Paradigm Shift Las Vegas?
I like the page, but I haven't really, checked
it
out yet.
Okay, cool. Well, just making sure that you do know about it at the very least. So, cool, man. All right, so dreams. where's the first place that we can start? So I think it's pretty obvious, for me at least, that dreams are definitely something that we can learn from. A lot of sort of like mainstream culture might sort of put off this idea that dreaming is just sort of a side effect that like takes place when our body's in rest, so to speak. And, it's just sort of like the neurons sort of firing to keep activity in the brain. But a lot of people will just say like, it's just purely random. But from my point of view, like, I think there's definitely a lot that we can learn from dreams, because in one way of thinking about it, and again, disclaimer here, like, think for yourself, anybody who's listening for this, like, anything that you hear me say is just sort of my own way of perceiving it, but it is this opportunity for our higher self, so to speak, to sort of communicate with who we are, like, in this density, sort of like for that communication to happen between the conscious and the unconscious. What do you think? Like, what are dreams to you, so to speak?
Yeah, I definitely believe, dreams are like communication from your higher self, to your physical mind. And like, I've had experiences where like I would have a dream, and then months later I would have like a synchronicity that led up to that dream. So that, I mean, you can just see how like the spirit is definitely, it knows, much more.
Yeah, it's definitely like very, very fertile grounds for messages to get across. And I think, a lot of people are interested in the idea of like decoding dreams. And I've sort of talked about this in the past on the show, but the universe communicates to us through the language of symbols. Like, it communicates in general through the language of symbols. So it's very interesting to be able to take note of your dreams over periods of time and be able to decode the language of your own dreams. Because as much as there are all these books out there to say, like, symbology of dreams and stuff, the best person to decode your dreams is you. Yeah, and it's figuring out like your language of your dreams. So, yeah, that's really interesting. Now, what do you like in terms of your own dream explorations? Do you keep a journal?
Yeah, I have one, but sometimes I get like, if I have a weird dream or like a bad dream or something like that, I've gotten a little lazy, but trying to pick it up, now and then.
Yeah. Now, like, how successful have you been historically in terms of like lucid dreaming?
Well, I would say I've had about like 4 or 5 lucid dreams, and sometimes like I tend to fall out, and like I'll be in the dream and I'll have a lucid dream, and like I'll be aware that I'm dreaming, and then like all of a sudden I'll be in a different setting completely, and like I'm not aware of the dream. It's kind of weird, but. Yeah.
Like, I'm just sort of thinking here in terms of like really creating a context for what dreams are. Like, I think there's some stuff that, maybe we almost need to just like step back a little bit. Another way that I sort of like perceive the whole concept of dreams is understanding like the relativeness of like what the dream realm is compared to like what this density is. Because then this is something that's it's sort of what I was talking about in the poem that I read at the beginning. It's this idea that we as, so to speak, spirit, if that's the term you want to use, like you can just think of like consciousness or just light, infinite light and awareness. Like, we began outside of this physical density. Like, this physical density is technically not where we're from. Like, this is just a place that we're inhabiting and we're using to experience, like this, like, I think when you think about the Matrix, it is very similar to that. And I think the Matrix is like a good metaphor that maybe will come up a few times tonight in terms of like understanding dreams and waking up within them. So I think, where we're from in that sense is more aligned to what like the astral realm, like the dream realm is like. Like, that's actually more where we're from. And then it's just like these moments where we're sort of awake in this state that we have like this whole separate experience. Like, that's kind of why you get this idea that within dreams you can communicate with people who have like passed on, people who are like in the spirit realm, so to speak. And it's interesting because, I mean, we have to be able to discern the idea that a lot of our dreams, a lot of what happens in our dreams is like projections, opposed to something genuinely being there. Like, it is possible to like communicate with other entities in the dream space, but the majority of the time, what we are probably interacting with is like a projection of our subconscious. So, you know, like you'll be like in a room of people and you'll be talking to other people, but all those other people are you in that dream space, so to speak. But there is a possibility that you can like communicate with another intelligence, another entity in this space. And then I think that's more, it's kind of something, it's up to the individual to sort of decide in the moment, sort of, you know, whether that entity they were communicating with was something or wasn't something. But what I was just going to say, and just real quick, it's really interesting because like I have been sort of pursuing more consistency within my own dreams within the last little while. And last night I was able to remember like 5 different dreams that I had throughout the night. But within one of them, I was specifically speaking with my grandfather, my late grandfather. And I've had a couple of dreams with him in the past. So it was definitely something that I took note of because my grandfather, just to like give a little background, he is very similar to, I'm very similar to him in a lot of ways. Like, he was actually one of the pioneering people in child psychology, and a very intelligent man, very smart, very like, he was like teaching me about like Einstein's theory when I was just like 10 years old or something. I have memories of this, but it was so in that sense, it was interesting to be able to communicate with him in the dream last night. But I can't remember the full conversation that I had with him, but I know it happened. But the fact that I can't remember the full conversation for me is something that sort of makes me want to pursue the ability to maintain and have more consciousness in my dream. Like how cool would that be to be able to strive to remember that conversation that I had with my grandfather, like in detail, that happened in the dream, you know? Like, that was just something to sort of aspire towards that makes you want to pursue the dream exploration practice even more so. So you're going to add something.
I'm glad you brought up like the Matrix, because I did have this experience when I first started, you know, recording in my dream journal, where I was kind of like flushed out the sewer, just like, you know, Neo was.
Yeah.
So it was like, wow, you know, that movie definitely has some, I don't know, countenance to it.
Yeah. Like even the idea of like the whole training simulations within the Matrix movie, you know, where you're sort of like, you're like, all right, upload, you know, like how to fly a helicopter, like the Kung Fu simulation. If you master your dreams, like you could do that. You could actually, and I sort of do this in some of my meditation. Like, I'll actually imagine myself like in a dojo, and I'll be like fighting sort of enemies coming at me, kind of like
in a dojo
or something like that. You know, like literally in a scenario that's going to help me create this image, like even more so, even more concrete in my mind. So I'll sort of imagine myself like kind of fighting a bunch of guys, Bruce Lee style, and anyone listening to this can try practicing this too. And you like begin it as a meditation, and really bring your 5 senses into the experience, and then to be able to try and like achieve that similar state in the astral, like within, you know, that dream space, and have it be like even more real, so to speak, you know, to the point where it is like very parallel to the whole Matrix movie is kind of my point, where you could like pick and choose a training simulation that you want to run yourself through. Like, that's, again, just something to aspire towards in terms of dream exploration. So
yeah, I really enjoyed what the last week's show, what Michael had to say about like a journal. Right. I definitely believe that everyone should have like a journal, not just to record their dreams, but, you know, the synchronicities that go along with those dreams. Because, like, after we have a dream, there might be so many like symbols and synchronicities that actually correlate with, you know, the symbols in our dreams, and we have to be able to remember, you know, and write down both of them. Mm-hmm. But it kind of should be like, you know, the movie Inception, how they all have that little symbol, and that no one else can touch
talisman.
it. Yeah, that's definitely how it should be, though. It should be yours, you know, your synchronicities, your dreams, your experience.
Yeah. And
if you feel the need to share it with somebody, then go ahead, but don't, you know, read my journal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, you know, I've kind of heard this before. Like, when you really start getting into the esoteric side of dream exploration, one of the things they tell you is to be very careful about talking about your dreams. Because, I mean, they're your dreams, you know? Like, you don't just go around and just, like, it would be very foolish to walk up to someone and be like, oh, hey, man, like, you were in my dream last night and blah, 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 right? Like, unless there was a reason for you wanting to tell them. But, I mean, sometimes, you know, like, again, sort of what happens within your dream space is very personal in a lot of ways, so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to, hold on. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. All right. Well, I think, you know, just, okay, so for people who may be new to this idea of dreaming and stuff, let's just sort of try and get some definitions in place. So, okay, so we're awake. We're awake right now, and then we dream. So dreaming is this process where we can experience firsthand the fact that our consciousness exists outside of our physical body. And a common term used to describe the place that we exist within when we're dreaming is the astral. And that's a term that will probably come up tonight. So within the astral, there's less laws, you could say, or laws are different. So the vibration of the astral is different. And like I said, it's more true, it's more real in a sense to where we're actually from than what we're experiencing right now in this density. Because as we've talked about before, like this physical density is an illusion. And you get into the idea of like quantum mechanics, and it sort of explains this like at the micro level. Like the chair you're sitting in is 99% empty space, so to speak. It's the illusion of the vibrations that are holding this together. So within the dreams that we experience every single night, we're in this space where the vibration is different, and because of this, our experience is different, meaning that thoughts create almost like they do create instantaneously in a more obvious way. And let me just explain this real quickly, and I'm going to tie it back so it really makes sense. So within this density, like it is our mind that is creating. Like we exist as pure creative potential. Like we don't even exist in the astral as you could think about it this way, like we don't actually have a body in the astral. We just sometimes perceive that we have a body because that's what we're used to in this like dense reality. But if you were to like look down in the astral, you could very well just be like a floating circle, a floating like ball of observance, so to speak. And
observance.
Yeah, I don't know if is that a word. It is now. Just like an orb, so to speak. So within this reality, you have the potential to fly around because gravity does not exist in the same way. The only thing that might be holding you down is the thought that you think gravity might be there. So, I mean, I've had this experience before where I'm in a dream, I'm lucid, I'm aware, and lucid dreaming just means that you're conscious within your dream. You're aware that you're in a dream, and then that's when things get really different. That's when you're like starting to operate within this astral space with more control, and you can manifest things with your thoughts. So you can be like, like I want an apple, and be like, boop, and then like an apple appears in front of you, and you can be like, I want to be at the pyramids of Egypt, and you can like teleport because time and space is the same. So the term lucid dreaming, again, is just being aware that you're in a dream opposed to just being stuck in the unconscious state. Common times when we dream, we're unconscious in our dreams. We're asleep in our dreams. What we want to be able to do is wake up in our dreams. And then what we actually want to do is to be able to wake up in our waking life as well. Because when you understand what dreams are, you understand that thoughts create within dreams, you understand that thoughts create within this density as well, equally as much. It just takes a little bit different time and space-wise because of the density. So the last term, just to sort of introduce, is the idea of astral projection. So astral projection is it can be very ambiguous as to like what it is depending on who you ask, because the term, because it's very subjective, so to speak. But I think maybe for tonight, if we could sort of try and pinpoint a definition on it, astral projection is the idea of projecting into the astral, like, very simply thinking of it that way. So the astral space, well, technically, even where we are right now, again, like we are in the spiritual dimension. Like this density is still equally as spiritual as the other dimensions and stuff. So the astral is technically everywhere, but then there's like the astral space within your dreams. But what it's more referring to is your astral body. So it's projecting your astral body. So this physical body cannot shoot up through your ceiling right now and fly across and out across the street and like go across town, but your astral body theoretically can. So astral projection is the technique of going into a deep state of concentration and meditation and allowing the body to transition from sleep state or from waking state into sleep state with conscious awareness still intact. commonly when we fall asleep, our body falls asleep, or rather our mind falls asleep, and then our body falls asleep. What we want to be able to do is allow our body to fall asleep by getting it into such a deep state of relaxation, but keeping the mind awake, so that when we go into that slip, when we go into that transition, and we can talk about this tonight, even the sensation of that moment where you're sort of transitioning between dimensions, so to speak, when you're going from like awake state to that astral awareness, there is a sensation that goes along with this. So it's going into that state with more awareness, and then actually being able to move your astral body. Like, it's going into a dream with intention, so to speak, because even when you're astral projecting, you're still dreaming. It's still lucid dreaming, so to speak. So like astral projection is like more of a specific act that you can do while lucid dreaming. So if does that make sense to you, Shane? Do you think I did an okay job of explaining that?
Yeah, I've never had an astral projection like experience yet, but
okay. Yeah, it's I mean, there are moments when you may be having a lucid dream where you like wake up inside of your bedroom, so to speak, and I've had this, and then you sort of like go outside your door, but once you get outside your door, you're like in a whole different place. Again, like that would, even though a lot of people think that even if you're just projecting in a space that you recognize as the physical reality around you, a lot of people think that's astral projection, but I think astral projection should more sort of be tailored to the practice of going into that state consciously rather than waking up in a lucid dream. It's like going into a lucid dream with intention. And you know, because like the people who are doing remote viewing, like remote viewing is like sort of the sign, like the military term like coined when they were practicing astral projection to like be able to spy on the Russians and get information, so to speak. Like when they were astral projecting, when they were remote viewing, you know, it's kind of one and the same. They weren't like, okay, I'm going to go remote view. Let me go take a nap and I'll see what happens. Like, no, they sit on a chair, they meditate, they get into that deep state, then they move their astral body, and then they willingly come back and they're like, all right, this is what I saw, so to speak. So, yeah, I think I know a lot of people really get sort of mix and match when it comes to defining what astral projection is. So hopefully that maybe adds some clarity before we move forward tonight with some of the people that we'll bring on. So, Shane, is there anything else that you want to add? Because I think let's move into bringing some other people onto the air, and we'll see where that takes us. That's cool.
No.
Cool. All right, so let's because I mean, of course, I'm glad that I just had a chance to sort of explain some perceptions that I had, because I did want to be able to add some clarity and some, you know, even though the concept, the topics may be very complex, they're also very simple, and what we're doing here is simply practicing talking about them. It's, you know, using the words to the best of our abilities. So we're going to bring on a caller onto the air, and I'm not exactly sure who they are, but they're calling in from phone number 954. So caller, if you're familiar with the first three digits of your phone number, just get ready, because we're going to bring you onto the air, and then we'll go from there. And there are a few people who are in the queue right now, so just stay on the line, and we'll try and get through them fairly fast. So for anybody who's calling in, let's try and keep it to sort of like almost 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes per caller, just to sort of leave room for everyone. So caller from 954 phone number, if you're ready, we're going to bring you onto the air. So here we go. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Hi, caller, you can hear us?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, okay,
so
cool.
I wanted to bring up the fact that you were talking to your grandfather in your dreams.
Caller, do you want to introduce yourself?
What's that?
No, I was just going to say, do you want to introduce yourself just before we get into the thick of it?
I guess so. My name's Jessica, or
okay,
I don't know. My name's Jessica, sure. I wanted to bring up first, before I got into any sort of dreams, about you talking to your grandfather. Within the last 2 weeks, I've been like going through all my friends and through everyone that I know, and been asking them like what their grandparents did, what they were like, and like kind of transmuting like the qualities of themselves like through their grandparents to kind of like show like how like the genetic code is like formed. Right. And like I've been doing this with I have a bunch of Freemasons that live around here that like tracked my family bloodline way before like the usage of cars and like my great grandfather brought like the first car into the town that I live in. And but anyways, I find that really interesting because I feel in a lot of ways like you kind of take a quarter from like each of your grandparents and kind of like create yourself, like more than just like looking at your mom and your dad. Like it's easier to see through like your eyes of your grandparents. But anyways, I wanted to bring up my first memory. It actually was me waking up from something. It was just complete darkness. I heard music and my eyes shuttered on. I wouldn't, like, I don't know if you've ever partaken in like a DMT sort of experience, but like your eyes kind of like shutter off and then like turn on again, whether or not you have your eyes closed or open. It's kind of like subjective. But my eyes opened and I saw this Care Bear with this holographic heart that like I only know of from like a video when I was like 1 year old at like a place I used to live at, and it was playing music from inside of it, and my parents both lifted me out from my crib or cage at the time, whatever you would like to consider it as, and put me between them. They didn't have faces at the time, and I looked up and saw my ceiling fan with a slight orange string hanging from like the middle of it, and I reached my hand out and kind of played with it within my fingers. It's like the first memory of my whole existence, and it just really sticks to me. If anything, that feels more like a dream, and this whole thing feels more like a dream than any dream I've really had. I had 3 reoccurring dreams when I was little at 3, 6, and 9, like, like the sacred like numbers that are found throughout whatever. The first one, I want to say I was a boy, but I'm not necessarily sure because, like, gender is so subjective in itself anyways. But I met this girl at, like, this carnival sort of thing that was, like, there was just all sorts of different lights going around us and in between us, and, like, we pretty much, like, knew exactly who we were, like, the second I first, like, found her or whatever, and, so then we got separated and got taken to, like, different parts and different places. And then I had one when I was 6 that it was me going on, like, this big adventure trying to find her, going across all these lands. And then I remember, like, she said, all you have to do is, like, picture me exactly how you remember me, and I'm right there. And a photograph of her appeared out of nowhere, and then like she kind of like popped up. We spent the time kind of just like playing and doing.
Oh, okay. She actually dropped there. We actually lost her. So, okay. Thanks, Jessica. If you want to try calling back in, maybe we can bring you on later. I really don't know what happened there. Maybe she just like went under a bridge or something. I don't think she was in a car, but anyways, so that was cool though. I mean, if anybody got sorry,
I definitely
Shane?
like what she said about looking back at your family tree, because I definitely believe that your genetics definitely point to like who you could have been in previous lifetimes.
Yeah, no, I agree with what she said. The idea that we're sort of the mix and match of our predecessors. So it's pretty cool. Like we come in with kind of like a template, and then we really get to customize it and work with it from there. So yeah, no, it's really interesting because I mean like my mom's a Cancer and my dad's a Taurus, and I'm a Cancer, so I'm like a Cancer Taurus. And like if you were to meet my mom and my dad, like yeah, I'm very much them, but I'm very much my own thing. So it's you kind of learn more about yourself when you look at your ancestors. So I mean, and that's something, hey, like that's something within dreams that people are welcome to explore. The idea of like past lives. I've heard about that plenty. Like the idea that we'll get reminiscent images within our dreams and symbols, language of something that is trying to be conveyed to us. And it could be, again, from part of our higher selves to help us understand who we are within this lifetime. Because the thing with dreams, and I'll just say this real quickly, and then we'll bring on another caller. The thing with dreams is that when you think about it, like you're asleep for at least 1/3 of your life. So I think goal, like a big like responsibility that we need to bring into our lifetime here and now is to be able to like retain the experiences that we are having in our dreams more so than opposed to just like letting them kind of slide by us, because then you're getting more out of this whole experience, this whole like lifetime experience. Like you're actually learning more within your dreams, and even exploring your dreams. If people were to ask, like, you know, why explore your dreams, like what's the benefit? Exploring your dreams like benefits in a lot of ways. It like increases inspiration and creativity. I think when you really start doing that, it increases meditation habit. It increases like mindful conscious awareness within the day. Like there's a lot that you can learn about yourself through studying your dreams. So if that's something that people are willing to do, then again, like we got a whole community kind of backing you up on it. And I got some other websites. Actually, if anybody's interested, and I'll just mention it now. If you're looking for a way to help inspire a habit for you to write down your dreams, there's a website called dreamcatcher.net, and it's just kind of like an online dream journal. So I've posted my stuff up there in the past, and the username for that is amenbrenraw, and I'll post that in the show notes as well. But again, it's just in addition to creating your own dream journal, try doing an online journal, or try uploading like dream recollections directly to YouTube through you could always do a Google Hangout video and record it very easily through that, which I'm actually going to try doing pretty soon. Once I sort of feel there's something worth sharing or worth recording on video, I'm going to try and do that to sort of keep you guys in kind of up to you know, in the loop as to like how my own dream exploration is progressing. Because yeah, like we want to be able to like take messages from our dreams and be able to like bring them into meaningful relationship to what we're experiencing here and now. So sorry, Shane, do you got anything to add on that?
No, I'm just
cool, man. No, I mean, I just don't want to like take up too much of the microphone time here, but yeah, I mean, I've talked about dreams plenty, like in, you know, AFK, and I think it's really just something that needs to happen more and more and more. And actually, at the meeting that we're having with our Paradigm Shift Fanshawe, the first meeting that we're having is actually going to be about dream exploration, so that'll be really cool too. So the more it happens, the better. All right, now I'm going to bring on the next caller. So the caller from phone number 437, those are the first three digits of your phone. Just get ready, and we're going to bring you on now, and then we'll go from there. So caller, if you're ready, we're bringing you on.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, caller, you can hear us.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Caller, what is your name, where are you calling from, and what would you like to bring to the show?
My name is Tom from Elk Grove Village. The first thing I wanted to bring up, because I will forget to bring it up, is most of my spiritual background in terms of where my journey started is in Taoism. And there's a story in Taoism from a philosopher named Chuang Tzu, whose name I'm sure I'm butchering horribly, and I apologize to his spirit for that. And for the record, I don't have this memorized. I'm reading it off the internet. I don't want to get too much credit for this, but it goes, once upon a time, I, Chuang Tzu, dreamt I was a butterfly, fluttering hither and thither, to all intents and purposes a butterfly. I was conscious only of my happiness as a butterfly, unaware that I was Chuang Tzu. Soon I awakened, and there I was, veritably myself again. Now I do not know whether I was a man, dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly, dreaming I was a man. The transition is called the transformation of material things. And oddly enough, on the subject of the Matrix, the first time I experienced that story was in a video game related to that series. But the reason I bring it up is that I think it says a lot about how we should view our dreams as sort of not this crazy mind space where we shouldn't pay attention to it because anything can happen, or for that matter, because anything can happen, we should pay more attention to it than our waking lives necessarily. I think it's just I say just, and that devalues in the way I'm not trying to, but a separate reality that we can coexist in. To me, I derive a lot of value from that because you mentioned earlier about the way reality manifests to us, and in a lucid dream, it manifests immediately, but in our waking life, it'll take time and a bit more effort to manifest the things that are actually happening in our subconscious mind. I think the reason for that is that the dream world, for lack of a better term, is a place without time or space, whereas our reality, the waking life, is constrained by time and space pretty reliably. Go ahead.
I tend to believe that, say, you could have a dream, like, a few years down the road, and then someone else later on has a similar dream, like, that correlates, because time obviously does not exist in the higher realms. So, you know, you could have, like, these synchronicities and coincidences that happen between intervals in our you know, waking life in the astral realms.
I not to be contrary, but time doesn't exist in our realm technically either. It's just an illusion we use to mark things by. I'm not saying it's an easily escapable one, but I think it's important to try to remember that it doesn't really exist in this one either.
Yeah, it's getting. I hear you on that one. I mean, it's kind of it's kind of one of those paradigm shifty things to wrap your head around. Yeah. All right. Now, okay. So, what do you guys think about the idea of shared dream experiences? Because that's something I've had that experience once, and I'll just tell that story real quick. And it was with a buddy of mine, and I met him like just through the internet at the time, and he lives on the West Coast, and we were just sort of having a lot of conversations. This was back in like 2010, and just throwing a lot of ideas back and forth at each other, and talking a lot about dreams and esoteric stuff. And in a dream that we had together, it was like me and him sitting on a couch in a room, and one of the things that I said to him in a dream, it was really interesting because I was explaining to him like the idea of like multidimensional beings within a dream. So we were sitting on a couch, and it's kind of like in a party or something, and I was pointing over to the corner to the right, and I was like, see over there, like see in that corner, like there's a gnome right there in that corner, but you just can't see him because he's on a different like vibrational like density, but he can see us. And I was just like, and I remember explaining this to him, but it was interesting because when we woke up, both of us woke up with the same song in our head, and that's actually what helped confirm for us that we did have that shared dream experience, because both of us, like, I like went on YouTube, and the song was actually Smooth Criminal by Alien Ant Farm, and I like sent him that link for the song before he even said anything to me, and he was like, oh my god, like, man, like, do you remember the dream last night? And the more that we talked about it, like the memory actually came back to me. Like I didn't really have it right away, but when we wake up from dreams, it's not uncommon to have a particular song or a particular like pattern, because songs are language as well. Like they're the symbols as well. So, we record things in symbols and patterns, and songs are patterns. So if you wake up with a song in your head, that's something that you really want to take note of and find out like why you woke up with that song in your head. So, okay, so again, like shared dream experiences, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I haven't had like a shared dream experience, but I did have this, I remember going to see the movie Cloud Atlas, and then thinking,
right.
I should tell some people to go see this movie. And I had the thought that, that maybe I'll tell my mom to go see this movie. And I had the thought that I would tell her in a dream. And then she told me that she went and saw it, and sure enough, she told me that I told her to go see it in a dream. It was like,
go figure.
I've had a number of shared dream experiences amongst many of my friends and people close to me myself, actually. I think the reason they're possible at all is because the dream world isn't limited in the same way that our waking life is. But at the same time, I don't think anyone should ever feel bad or guilty for not having a shared dream experience, because I believe the dream world is accessed by our subconscious mind, and thus is very much our own place. But if two people happen to be on the same vibration, for lack of a better word, at the same time, I believe that they can meet in the same place. And most of the time this doesn't happen intentionally, but I believe it even can if two people concentrate enough on meeting each other in their dreams, then I believe they will.
Mm-hmm.
I think the value in that is the same as value in dreaming in general, and that's the dream world is a place without limits. So if there's someone in your life that you wish you could share some kind of experience with, then ideally they feel the same way, then the dream world offers you so much more opportunity for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's something to strive for. Like, knowing the thing with the dream world is that even though we may not have had full out like lucid experiences, we can understand that they are possible, and we can understand like what is possible within the astral, within the dream realm. So it's something to really, if you want to have an experience like that, because I guarantee you, like, the things that we can experience in dreams with a conscious awareness is better than any Hollywood movie that is like coming out in the future or something. So a lot of people, they are looking for that something more within their day-to-day lives, and oftentimes they depend on external stimulation such as a Hollywood movie. But if you want to really experience something that's really you and really real, and like teach you a thing about like unity and stuff too. Like, I think that's another reason why dream exploration is important. Like, it teaches you a lot about oneness, this idea that like we are the everything around us. So if you want those experiences, start studying the dream exploration. And I think it's cool because I can almost envision a future where like we can almost like collectively be more in tune with our dreams. So, we'll hang out with people in the day and we'll be like, all right, well, like, I'll see you guys later tomorrow, or I'll see you guys tomorrow, but like I'll see you in the dream, in the astral tonight.
In the astral.
Exactly, right? And I've had that joke with my friends, and then it doesn't, not to say it didn't happen, but I mean, I can't consciously directly recall it happening as consistently as I would ideally hope for. But how cool would that be, if we have these locations within the dream realm that we can commonly go to? And then the question from there is just think of all the things that we could do, we can continue learning from each other. Like, it's even the idea that there's actually like schools, there's actually like mystery schools, like in the dream realm, like in the astral, like on the different dimensions, and there's different teachers and different guides, and people will talk about the idea of like even archangels and stuff like that. There's just an endless amount of intelligence that you can communicate with on the astral, let alone your friends, so to speak. Now, Tom, it's Tom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still there. Okay, so we actually lost Shane. So wow, they're just really dropping off like flies tonight. I don't know what's happening.
I will do my best to remain.
Okay, thanks. Because we'll actually, that's weird though that Shane actually dropped off. But since you're here, I mean, just to sort of keep things moving along, do you sort of want to just stay in on the conversation when we'll bring in a third person shortly? Does that work for you?
By me.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll work with that. So, all right. Now, okay. Do you have anything else that you'd like to sort of specifically mention on dreams before we bring on another caller?
Well, the one thing I do want to cover really quick is that in terms of lucid dreaming and following the path towards lucid dreaming, I was gathering some materials before I was calling in, so I'm not sure if you mentioned this already, but there are resources you can find online and books that you can buy that will describe the methods that you can use to develop this talent. There's WILD, or WILD, lucid dreaming. There's a lot of them. But it's definitely something that if you're new to this and you feel you want to explore it, or I find there's many people who don't believe that they have the resources to do something like this in and of themselves, and you can definitely find information, and there's systems and ideas to try out to help you develop this.
Yeah, Yeah, no, that's true. Like all the resources that someone needs to pursue lucid dreaming are totally available. And I'll just mention this now. Let me just make sure I got the link for it. Yeah, I do. When we started doing events in the college back in the day, we were also doing videos as well. And I'll include this in the show notes because this is actually something that it's a good introduction video to the whole lucid dreaming topic. One of the very first presentations that we had in the college was about lucid dreaming and astral projection, and we had a guest speaker, and I recorded the guest speaker, and it's episode 1 of a 9-part video series that we did called Sight Beyond Sight. So you can check out the whole series for anybody who like enjoys the first episode, and I just posted that in the live chat, and I'll post it on the show notes. So that is a good video to sort of get introduced to the topic, and then there's like a 50-minute presentation from that. But yeah, okay, just in terms of, you know, if someone's like, okay, like I get the concept of this whole dreaming thing, how do I start doing it? How do I start experiencing it? And when I've talked about this before, and this is actually something that I'd like to be able to get from other people who are calling in tonight, like what are some practical tips that you can share with the people listening to like help them get more out of the dream experience? Now, the obvious ones right off the bat are like using a dream journal, because like using a dream journal flexes that dream memory so you can be able to like get in the habit more of remembering our dreams. Because when you think about it, you know, there's our conscious memory, there's like this waking life memory, and then there's almost like a whole nother bank of memories that are our dream memories. And it's like there's like some sort of very delicate like golden stream that's like connecting the two when we're in that state of dreaming. But then when we sort of like wake up, it's not like those memories disappear. It's just that our connection to that separate bank of memories is like temporarily severed, so to speak. So we want to be able to actually like keep that golden strand connected so that the information is still flowing. And you can experience this for yourself. If you actually have something that you've taken a note of in your dream, you can meditate, you know, go into a relaxed state of meditation, simply just sit there, close your eyes, like focus on your breath. Just allow your breath to be like the guide of your meditation. Keep it very simple. Just focus on your breath or focus on your heartbeat, and just, you know, if thoughts are coming and going, that's fine. But then sort of direct your thoughts using a symbol or a reference that you have taken from your dreams, and that will actually, in some way or another, help you remember the dream that you're thinking about. You know, it's sort of like, it's like browsing a computer. It sort of like directs you towards a file, and then from that file there's like sub files that are linked off of it. So, you know, you sort of got to surf your own mind. You got to like go through like the tunnels of your own consciousness, understanding that like one thing can link to the memory of another thing. So, you know, that's something that meditation is the next obvious step that we need to take into consideration. Because if you want to have a lucid dream experience, most people, if they don't meditate, they're going to get into a lucid dream experience and they're going to be like, whoa, this is awesome, oh, ho, ho, and they'll just like lose focus, and they'll either like wake up really quickly or like have no more than like 2-3 minute experience out of it, and maybe, you know, they'll just get like caught up in very like egoic ideas. So what we want to be able to do is to concentrate within the dream in like a mindful calmness way by, you know, meditating outside of the dream. And that way, when we do get into the lucid dream experience, like we'll still have that choice as to like what we want to do. Because, you know, like when you really start getting deeper into lucid dreams, you'll at first you'll get into a lucid dream experience and you'll probably do that. You'll probably be like, all right, like I'm here, like let's try flying around. And that's cool, because I think that's part of the process, is like familiarizing yourself with just how to move in the astral. And that's actually something we'll talk about, because it's not a physical body. Like you're actually directing yourself with thought. So if you try flying up, most times you might try flying up and you'll fall back down, because your subconscious mind is holding on to this concept of gravity that actually creates the gravity for you in your dreams. So you're like working against the sort of coding of your mind relative to this waking state, and relearning how to move your mind in the astral, in like the, you know, the astral body state. So again, meditation is such a key thing. Dream journal is such a key thing, and then reality checks are a key thing. So we want to get in the habit of checking whether or not we're dreaming within our waking life. So right now, you can do something as simple as like, like check like if there's a ceiling. And this is out of Waking Life, like the movie Waking Life. People have seen this, and there's a reason for it because it works. But reality checks can really be your own thing. Like reality check could be having a piece of paper in your pocket with the words like "I'm awake" on it, and then put that in your pocket and keep it in your pocket throughout the day. And then once an hour, take out this piece of paper that says "I'm awake" and read it to yourself. And then put it back in your pocket, and then just do this. Like if you need to set a timer on your watch, do this. And then in the dream, the idea is that this habit will play over, so that in a dream, you'll be like, oh, is it 1 hour? And you'll be like, oh, I should probably check if I'm asleep or not. And then you pull out the piece of paper, and instead of saying I'm awake, it'll probably be weird jarbled language and be like, wait a second, that's not right. And then that will be your trigger. And then from there, you're like, okay, I know I'm dreaming. Now what? And again, if you've meditated, if you have that calmness, that's when you can really start to get deeper. So you can get past the desire, the egoic desire to just try flying around or turning it into, something super, trying to eat as much food as you can without getting full is kind of an example. And you can go deeper. You can explore deeper states. And I'd love to be able to hear an experience from this. If somebody has an experience of this that I bring onto the show, but take this into consideration, that you can meditate in your dreams. So you can become lucid in your dream, and then you can sit down and meditate in your dream and go deeper. And that's where, you think about the movie Inception, it's actually, there's something to that when you sort of go deeper into your own dreams, when you meditate in your own dreams. So it's just something to keep in mind. So yeah, meditation, dream journal, reality checks, and then becoming more conscious in your day-to-day life. So just being aware of the breath, taking note of ceilings, just being more in the moment, being very present, and that all sort of adds together. And also, there's a bunch of other techniques, and we'll get into those throughout the rest of the show, I'm sure. So
on the note of reality checks, I actually I experienced the idea of the thing in Inception, the little icon that every character would use. I think they called it a totem. I actually experienced that myself before I even saw the movie. In the waking life, I have a small stone elephant that I carry with me for reasons that'll take too long to explain. But I've retrieved it in dreams, and in actual dreams, I pull it out and look at it in my hand, and it's a live, moving, bleating elephant.
Oh, wow.
And despite the fact that I took a moment to really appreciate that in the particular dream, that's always been extremely useful for me because that one's very difficult to mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea. So there we go. So personal first-hand account of successful totem use. So yeah, cool. All right, let's bring on our next caller. There's a bunch more sort of tips and tricks that I'd like to be able to get into. So we'll do that throughout the rest of the show. And again, we'll still get in meditation, probably around 12:30 within this episode, and maybe we'll do something a little bit different. Like maybe we would sort of try and astral project within our meditation or something. So we'll see what happens. All right, so I'm going to bring on the next caller. So a caller who's coming in from first three digits of your phone number is 280. So if that's the first three digits of your phone number, then get ready because we're going to bring you on to the air now. So caller, if you're ready, here we go. Hello, caller, can you hear us? Hello, caller? Okay, it appears that the caller may be in the Astral right now. We're getting some technical difficulties. I don't know if I can get the signal properly. So, okay, caller, if you can hear us, we can't hear you, but it's coming off of a phone, so that's kind of unusual. So we're going to go on to the next caller. Caller, maybe just try calling back, or I'm not too sure. We got a few people on the line, so we're going to keep moving through it. So person who's calling in from phone number 954, if you're ready, we're going to bring you onto the air within the next couple seconds. So phone number 954, here we go.
Hello.
Hello. There we go. Hi, caller. You can
I'm
hear
back.
us? Oh, this is Jessica.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right. I'll just go to the one that I was when I was 9, and let me also notice that I asked my mom all throughout my life where this carnival was, or where I was that could remind me of such a thing, and she told me that the only place that can really be similar in some sort of aspect would be somewhere in Canada, Niagara Falls or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know exactly what we did up there, but anyways, the one I had when I was 9 years old, we both drove up in separate cars, but we both were driving them somehow. Our whatever the place we created started to look a lot more like McDonald's than anything else, and she gets out of the car with another female and tells me oh, I have a new best friend now, and I just kind of look to the ground and say to myself, well, she'll be back if there ever is such a thing, But anyways, what I kind of gathered from that, it could be so many different things. It could be just something that has kind of just stuck with me for some reason, but it happened at such a synchromatic instance of life that it's weird that having it at 3, 6, and 9 3 years apart intervals from each other doesn't really add up too well. But I wanted to bring up the whole thing about meditating while you're sleeping because
okay, cool.
You know how they say if you don't sleep or get REM sleep, you'll just die or whatever. I think it more has to do with a perceptional field of what you're creating for your future self to experience, and if you don't have this realm of sleep or this realm of dreaming or meditation, your body kind of shuts its physical attributes off from the rest of the reality that you kind of created in place for yourself, whether or not that's just some nonsense jargon that I kind of made up off the top of my head. That's for whoever to decide. But I wanted to actually ask you if you had any dreams in particular that you'd want to share, because I feel you spend a lot of time talking about things for other people to understand, but I feel as if you also have a lot of things that you should share yourself.
Sorry, you're asking me, Jessica?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just try and use something that's just a recent dream that I can remember that was different. And I guess some people can relate to this, and I'll try not to take up too much time here because I'd just be more interested in bringing on some other callers to hear what they have to share as well. But I have a tendency to have dreams of interesting stuff happening in the sky. I know I've had that a few times. I had this one dream where there was some really vibrant purple and green energy around the moon, and I was just fascinated by it. And I remember, and I saw someone talking about this in the chat, and this is something that's kind of funny. I tried filming it in my dream, and I was really excited that I was filming it in my dream, and then obviously I'm just well, I can't really capture that footage onto my computer quite that easily, but maybe in the future there'll be some sort of technology for that where we can record things in our dreams with our dream cameras somehow. But I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in the sky. I know that, and I had a dream not too long ago, and there was this red small orb floating across the sky, and it was creating a spiral in the clouds, and the sky was all red, and it was creating sort of an upside down tornado into the sky. In some weird way. And I've seen a bunch of UFOs in my dreams. I've kind of talked about that. One thing I'll just bring up, relative to the camera, and this is just sort of a technique that people can sort of take with them, so I'm glad that we actually got a chance to just touch on this. Within the dream, this is something that's really cool that you can try doing, and maybe I've mentioned this on a past show, I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can actually use something like a camera to teleport in a dream. So what you do is you have your camera and you're holding it, it's a camera that has a zoom on it, and you're holding up the display in your dream, and then you're look off into the distance, and then you zoom in on something, and then what you do, you sort of focus on the viewfinder of the camera, and then you teleport through the viewfinder, so you reappear where you were looking at through the lens of your camera, rather than having to walk there in your dream. Even though you could teleport there, if you're really conscious, you could just be you don't even have to use the camera technique. You could just be boom, okay, I'm there. But if you need something to sort of for like the left brain to sort of grab onto, so to speak, like that would be a technique. And I know I've done this before with like binoculars in my dreams. I've done this before with like scopes on a rifle as well. So I know that this technique does exist, and this is something that even when I haven't read it like properly, but like Tibetan Book of the Dead talks about some interesting techniques to sort of travel around the astral and like going through like holes and using holes within like the dream realm as portals to other locations. So just like even going through like a little hole like anywhere. It could be like the port, and I'm just using this as an example. It could be like the plug port, the audio like headphone jack port for something on your laptop. And if you're gonna go like in the astral, you can float around, be really small, and you can go through this tunnel, and then you're like appear somewhere else. So there's a bunch of techniques, and that's something that again I want to, let's bring on more callers, because I'd love to be able to hear of other techniques people have they can use to sort of like navigate within the astral. So Jessica, is there anything else that you'd specifically like to add right now?
I met this girl named Jessica, but she goes by the name Lavender. She lives in Norwalk, which is about 35 minutes from here. She had dreams as a little girl about the sky changing colors, and she swears that I was that.
Oh, Jessica, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. I wasn't sure if we lost you there. You're good.
And about the red orbs that you brought up at my elementary school, I saw green orbs like all across the sky, and like there was a UFO sighting over my elementary school before I was born. That my grandmother actually became like fascinated with UFOs at this time through it. And I don't know if you caught the whole thing about the girl named Lavender, but her actual name is Jessica. She lives like 30 minutes away from here. She's almost exactly like me. It's like almost scary in ways. She had dreams as a little girl about the sky changing and about like some female or something, and like she swears like by something that like I had something to do with it, but I don't really can say for sure, but yeah, I find that really interesting that you've been having those dreams. That's beautiful.
It is very, very, very cool sometimes. Like that's why I'm looking at it, I'm just like, wow, I wish I could capture what I'm looking at right now. Yeah. Someday. Yeah.
I feel you completely. Well, have somebody, go on. I'm sure that there's so many people that have better things to say.
Well, I appreciate you sharing, Jessica. So thanks again, and we'll keep in touch. All right, take care.
For
Bye.
Sure. Bye.
All right. Hey, Tom, you're still with us?
Yep.
Cool, man. All right. Well, thanks for sort of filling in here.
Yeah, no problem.
Hope you don't mind. Cool. And so yeah, let's keep moving along. Like I said, there's a couple more things, and maybe they'll come up in conversation. There's a couple more even tips and techniques that I would at least be able to like to share before the show's over. But before we do that, we'll bring on another caller. So caller whose first three digits of their phone are 784. If you're ready, we're going to bring you onto the air now. So caller 784. Here we go.
Hey, hello.
Hello, caller. You can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what would you like to bring to the show tonight?
Okay, my name's Dwight. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I just wanted to add some stuff into this. My first question is this show like a daily thing, or like when y'all usually on?
The show airs every Saturday. Like we go live every Saturday at 11 p.m. EST, and then the shows are always you can listen to them again through the same link on Blog Talk, or they're up on YouTube. So facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio, and that has like all the information you or anyone else would need. So.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I like what you got going on here.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we are going to have the technology. We already have the technology to record dreams. And
yeah, I've heard some of it.
So much more. Huh?
Go ahead.
Yes. Somebody was about to say they know about it already.
Oh no, I was just saying I have heard about, it's nothing like too new. Like, I mean, we've been trying to record dreams in some way or another for a little while, and I know the technology is starting to emerge. But yeah, what have you heard about it?
Okay, so It was the end of 2011 because, yes, of course it's not 12. So the end of 2011, so it's been a year. It was this machine they had brought out that record the images from your mind. So they put it on you, and whatever you're looking at in the real time, it records that. And the same thing with this is the same imagery from your, imagination too. It needed to be developed, but it's been a year. And there's another one with the motion sensor. Combine those two and just keep on going. Eventually, it just makes sense. It's going to automatically happen. It's already here. The only flaw in that mind, the one with the mental vision machine, is that when it recorded, it was kind of blurry, and then it had like if you know how the ink blot test when they show you to look at the ink blot. So it's kind of like when you look at something, it records. It actually recorded the images, but what that person interpreted that to be, which actually brings it to the dream. I want to also put you said you want a meaning for, a more clearer definition of lucid dreaming?
Sure, lucid dreaming, astral projection. Yeah, how would you define it?
Yes, while you were saying that, I was writing notes, and so it's clear, lucid is clear, and dreaming is like experience. So it's just a clear experience, everybody says conscious awareness in a dream, but it's clear conscious awareness in a dream. I'm going to work with that. I'm going to work into trying to really nail. I'm really good at explaining things in certain ways that haven't been explained yet. I want to also say, the dreams are experiences, and if we dream and have these experiences 1/3 of our life, how intelligent is it for anybody to even ask why it's important to be conscious of 1/3 of our experiences in life? Even if these experiences is in our head, these experiences is our emotions. These experiences are it's everything. It could be you go to sleep at night and you might be dreaming that you want to kill your boss. It's a psychological, all our experiences in a dream wrapped up in that one thing. So that's just, being unconscious is like sleepwalking. When you wake up in the morning, what if we just been in that state all day, woke up and we was halfway awake all day? I think it was something else that, the mutual dreaming. Like I said, I can explain things in certain ways that haven't been explained yet. Okay, so you can have spirits, for people who would believe in dream guides and stuff, they can go into your dream and stuff, even seeing energy projections, energy that turns into pictures into your dreams, through the whole, the brain, neural waves in your brain, because that's all thinking is energy. So it's so people who believe in that, but as far as people who can believe that you can see into the future or have other altered state of consciousness. So if I'm able to look into the future, if you are able to look into that future, what if we are able to look into that same future while we're dreaming? Are we in the same place? Are we having the same experience? And it's something weird that I was just writing down that came up. So if you could take your same body right now, the same energy of your body right now, and put that energy into the future. So all the energy that's made of everything, that composes everything, the walls around us, everything, even the trees, everything. You take that same energy, put it into the future, It's just different structures. So if you're taking your same energy and you like experiencing that energy, like you know, in a different way, in a different form, just to advance. Let's say the same energy of your body, but in how it's composed in your future body, or more of a vast way. So you just really, that's what time is. That's what the future is. I don't know. I didn't explain it right because I don't have it. Like, this is just formulating thoughts right now at this very moment.
For sure, man.
And I think that's about it. Brainstorming techniques for the dreaming. Brainstorm. Everybody know brainstorming is a hell of a tool. So when you go into your dreams, brainstorm. That way you will never run out of ideas. How can you run out of ideas if you brainstorm it? That could be like, spoon, paper. You could just take the paper and just step on it as a magic carpet. You never run out of brainstorming. I don't want to say there's no such thing as a writer's block, drawing block, or a lucid dream block. No such thing. Because if you could think of a dot, that's just a dot. That's the idea. If you could write down stupid, that's, you could just write down words. You just keep on writing. You just keep on drawing. You keep on dreaming. That's it.
Keep on dreaming, man. Yeah, for sure, man. Like, one thing just sort of links into another. It's all it all branches and stuff. So, for sure, man. Yeah, I think what you were saying, even the idea of being able to dream about the future is a really cool idea. And one thing that a lot of people, maybe they've even heard this before. When you think about some of the geniuses who we recognize as geniuses within our time, before our time, when you think about guys like Tesla and Einstein, they were very in tune with their dreams, are very interested in the dream space at least. And, I know Einstein, he always talked about how he always dreamed of music in a lot of ways. And Tesla, the guy who pretty much invented the modern day electric world that we live in, he openly talked about how he maybe someone double check my source on this, but he openly talked about how some of the technology that he got for the stuff that we have today, he telepathically received through Martians within his dreams. And I use Martians in the sense that aliens from Mars, that sort of old school term. That's actually Tesla talked about that and stuff. So whether they actually were Martians or not, there's this idea for this transference of knowledge and information to be passed on within our dreams. I mean, there's so much that our dreams are trying to teach us. And I think what we have to keep in mind is that we are the student. We are the student of our own mind. So are we taking notes?
God, universe.
Are we studying? Are we doing? Are we doing our homework? So.
Oh my God! What you just said to me, I'm I am just getting downloads and that's crazy because, Tesla said if you want to understand energy, think about frequency. And I want to, it's this thing that somebody text messaged me that Einstein, he had these notes during the time he was doing his time, space theory, and he said in these notes, so one of my friends, teachers, seeing these notes, but back in the 60s. But these notes, and I can't find these notes nowhere on the internet, nowhere. Oh, wait a minute, I never searched the word notes. And so it's so these notes, he was mentioning somebody who was in jail, and this guy who was in jail who used every day of his life to astral project, lucid. He used lucid projection, so it's both. And it was conscious mention of this. Where Nikola Tesla actually had the laboratory, and Einstein had the same laboratory. It's a mental laboratory where you lucid daydream. It's just I used to have it when I was a kid. I remember one time in elementary, I was just sitting there, I daydreamed, and all of a sudden I was still in class. I knew it. I didn't really fall asleep. My eyes was open. It was almost being asleep awake, meditating basically. and I just slipped into it, and it was like, but I could have easily been functioning at the same time. And that's what this world is coming to. It's going to have to. Everybody has to be prepared for it, because once that happens, it's just like this, it's responsibility. It's just like this gun incident. We cannot live with guns. We cannot live without them. Because if we didn't have them, our government would either take us out, So just the same way with all this type of stuff we have right now, like this more advanced way of living, on a more advanced level of life, we're going to have to really be up on it. It was something about, so they always had that laboratory of that lucid dreaming during just even when they was awake. And it's a thing about it, this universal, you know how they say this, the universe is trying to become conscious? I just tied it up to the last thoughts I had. It is. The universe is it is conscious. Like, I understand the consciousness of it. Okay, like how I had just talked about our energy. If you could take the same body and put it into your future body energy, just change the same atoms into the future atoms of yourself, that structure. We did that already. All of our cells always regenerating itself to new. So we have how many new bodies to the whole? They say you have so many bodies to your whole life. And so since we was a baby, we don't have the same, atoms or cells in our bodies. Mm-hmm. So it's basically the same thing I just talked about, and plus, the air that we breathe, the same oxygen on this earth is the same oxygen forever. So it's like all the same elements being here. And when you think about it, those things, just like I just said, that energy, from this time to the future time, the future shit is here. But it's like the different frequencies, the different waves. It's Wi-Fi. I want to add to syncing. You know how we sync our Facebook to certain things. Everybody, it's been I'm good at terms. I should write a dictionary, but it's gonna take more than one person. It's gonna be a lot of work, but you know how they say tune in, type of channel in, channeling. I call it sync, to sync in. Like that. Yeah. And it's the same thing. It's like almost if it is the Matrix. We just not synced in, and it's just like weird, because everything. This is the last thing I want to put. This is the last thing, because I know I just spent a lot of time, but this thinking in this thing. With the psychics, I realized. You know how you predict and stuff, and they always wonder, how can you think about somebody and they call you or something like that, or you think of this incident and it happens, and I was just thinking okay, if I'm asleep and I dream about the future, or just have these psychic predictions. I also say psychics are just counselors, but like mothers with intuition, counselors on another level. But so all of our energy is connected. All this energy is connected, and since everything is connected, besides, I could say, if I could predict my life, I wake up, I take a shower, I just go and cook, and then I go off to work, right? Now, if you could take that same thing and put it into the whole collective energy that's everywhere, and just simplify it, because on that massive proportion of all that energy is simple, because it's not as, even though it's whoa, that's a lot of information, that's a lot of energy. That's all it is energy. So you take all that energy of what everybody's doing into this one little thing, and you go, I could predict how this energy going to flow. That person going that way, this person, even the smallest, tiniest things to the biggest events, how all this energy flows. And how I'm thinking right now, what I'm planning to do tomorrow, That's the energy in my mind. And then
it exists in the mind.
In your same mind, in your mind, the same energy in your mind, I'm going to do, you plan to do this and that and that. That whole prediction of how that energy flow with everything else around me, just me and you and everything else, and like all these potential, like that's what all force is this potential inertia, and how it will just flow. And so that's how the psychics really are doing it, and how we all can do it. Even technology will do it, because just, we're not no different than technology and how that program works, the processing of that. And it's, they have all these, it's TED, that one, they have this, I forget what they have, but they
the
can
TED Talk? TED, I don't know what that is. Anyways, just one more point, and then we gotta keep moving on here, man.
Okay, it's called TED or something. They bring on speakers.
Yeah, TED Talks. Yeah.
Ideas worth talking about,
yeah.
And they have this thing they take it from the databases, the whole internet, the database, and how they putting it together, all these informations, and it's a different draft, more complex draft about how they could predict even the smallest events and the patterns of civilization. Just like the geographic stuff they have with the computers, they can see how everything's developed on this earth over like 1,000 years or something. But they just have it on another level.
Yeah, technology, common, man. So
we basically do the same thing in the dream. If we can,
true. Create our landscape as we're experiencing it. Yeah.
If we can think about that in mutual dreaming and how it's easy. Mutual dreaming is easy. I mean, if you can sync up to your angel guides, you can sync up the same way with each other, and that's what we're gonna have to do in the future. It's like, look, I'm about to just say it. It's just like this. I'm about to say this for my own self and for everybody in this world.
Go for it.
Anybody on that any crooked people will be really wise to just stop and just start learning. Are they going to learn the hard way? You're going to learn the hard way, bad people. You're going to learn the hard way because no matter how far ahead you are going to deal with a whole bunch of people who syncs up together, who's already millions, hundreds of millions of years ahead. And not only that, you're going to be dealing with people in the combination combined together on that level. So, good try of all that bull crap that everybody was on. But it's game over. Cool,
man.
Nicole Tesla, you never took Nicole Tesla out the game. How could these people actually think they have any chance? You didn't take Nicole Tesla out. Oh,
well, we'll be talking about that pretty soon, actually, repressed technology. So that's actually, we're going to be talking about that on the show next week, just give people a heads up. So suppressed technology and stuff and consciousness from a scientific point of view. So
it's this kid.
Sorry, man. If this is a whole other story, I'm going to have to cut you off, man. We'll have to save it for another time because we're running short here. So. Okay.
I am. But it's this kid on YouTube. Look on YouTube about this mathematician. Okay. He have what is called? I'm about to keep it short. It's short. He have what you call this type of dysfunction that these kids have, where artistic. It's this kid. He said he's proud to be artistic of his artistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's in college and he's doing all this. He's doing formulas that nobody else knows, and he knows about. He said the only reason why he could do it is the fourth dimension. And in that same thing, it's a video suggestion where this other kid, he explains what the fourth dimension is. He draws it out and explains. Now put that to the side. I know the government. And I know everybody know that. So be wise. That's all I'm going to say. Just be wise.
Cool. All right, man. Well, it was I think I'm actually gonna have to go back and like re-listen to some of what we were talking about just here. But it was interesting to sort of hear those thoughts just kind of flowing out of you like that. So I mean, I apologize for having to like cut you off because I'm sure you could like keep on talking here, and that's good. It's good, man. But
I'm sorry.
We'll
it's
say
so much information.
I know, man.
Yeah,
so much information. I hear you, man. There's so much to talk about. So we'll save some more of that for another time. But I'm just gonna let you go now. We're actually gonna move into our group meditation, and then we'll wrap up the show shortly after that. So thanks again, man, for being on the show.
All right, namaste.
And namaste, dude. And join the Facebook page if you haven't yet. So facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio, and we'll see you there. So sound good? Cool, man. All right, take it easy. Cheers. Okay, so from here we're going to go into our meditation, guys, and there still are quite a few other people who are in the queue, and maybe later on we'll do another episode specifically about dreaming and lucid dreaming, because it is a topic that we can continuously to go back to, even as a sense of like an update, like what are some new things we have learned. So quick couple points that I just wanted to mention, because I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to mention them directly after the meditation, depending on where the conversation goes. But just to bring it back to dreaming and dream exploration, quick couple tips. Be aware of your diet. Take note of the diet that you are eating. If you're eating heavy food, such as meats, that may affect your dreaming. Now, it's different for everybody, but just be mindful of that. And also, try to go to sleep on not necessarily, it can be an empty stomach, but don't go to sleep like after you eat a meal and expect to be able to remember your dreams, because the energy within your body that normally could be spent on trying to remember your dreams is instead going to be spent on digesting your food. So this is kind of like a scientific way of looking at it, and I'm sure there are other specific foods that you could incorporate into your diet that some people will actually tell you are going to help with dreaming and stuff, things like honey or maybe avocados or things like that. So keep that in mind. And the other tip that I was going to say, and this one's specifically for all the other gentlemen out there, just something to keep in mind. Gentlemen, be mindful of your seed. And I've talked about this on the show before, so to use it in a very polite term, be aware of whether or not conserve, have discipline over the seed within you, the seminal fluid, and don't just throw it away, because that seed is something that can be transmuted through up our spine. And you can do a visualization meditation of this, sitting there meditating, visualize the energy moving up from your coccyx, your root chakra, moving up your spine and going around the top of your head and into your third eye, and work with this meditation and use your breath to do it. So again, if you really want to get into deeper states of meditation and you really want to get that real incredible experience that you probably haven't fully experienced yet because you haven't really gotten there yet, and it takes practice and takes dedication, be mindful of your seed and don't spill it. It would be the ideal thing. I mean, use your moderation and stuff, but don't spill it as much as you probably are currently doing it. And consider that a challenge for yourself, because in all these cases with discipline and with meditation, I suggest to you to try this, to try and make the harder choice. So that could be something as simple as you opening up your cupboard and seeing the chocolate chip cookies, and instead of giving into the desire to eat the chocolate chip cookies, instead don't. Make that harder choice. In the same way that you might be at a point where you're like, should I meditate? And you'll be like, nah, I don't really feel like meditating. Those are the moments when you should meditate, when you need to go past those barriers and get past those obstacles, and really that's when you'll get those real beneficial aspects out of your practice. So again, just diet and conserving the seed, just another couple points to keep in mind in terms of lucid dreaming and dreaming experience, because I want you guys to be able to move forward on this path. Again, it's a whole collective community that we have going on here, and the big part of it that makes it difficult is the consistency of it. So keep in touch with anybody, and for those of you in the live chat, feel free to add each other, post your Facebook pages, and just get in touch and continue the conversations beyond this show. So Shane, Tom, you're still with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. If I could add one thing really quick on the note of reality checks and lucid dreams, since I find that most people tend to have dreams close to what their real life is like with modern technology. Two of the most common reality checks and some of the most valuable ones I've found are clocks and light switches. Look at a clock. If it's weird in any way, there's a good chance you're dreaming. Flip a light switch. If the lights were on already and they don't turn off, you're probably dreaming, etc. Mm-hmm. Those are really common markers for a lot of people.
Yeah. And again, straight out of Waking Life. And if you haven't seen Waking Life, the movie, go watch Waking Life as well. So that's a really cool movie in itself. Just kind of guy going through his own dream space and having lots of different conversations with people and giving lots of insight. And that's what we can experience as well. So if you want to learn more in this reality, continue the learning process within your dreams and continue to develop your awareness within the dreams, and you'll get more out of it. Like, you're going to open up a whole new aspect to your reality that you currently may be sort of neglecting from yourself. So you deserve it. You earn it for yourself, and it's there. It's yours to claim. So unlock with the key that you already have inside of you. So okay, from here we gotta get our meditation in. So let's do that. We'll do our meditation, and now. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to sort of, I'll introduce this meditation, and just because I already have a simple idea in mind. And for this what we're going to do with this meditation, we're going to work on the process of focusing on using our 5 senses within our dreams, because this is something that we can take right into our practice tonight. So when you're falling asleep tonight, you can meditate before you plan to go to sleep, but when you go to sleep tonight, continue this meditation and work with your 5 senses. So what we're going to be doing here, without me needing to specifically guide you, I want everybody here to envision themselves wherever they need to be. So let's begin just by getting comfortable. So we'll actually kind of start the meditation here. So I'll bring up the audio shortly once I sort of introduce ourselves to it. So let's begin the meditation, and we'll go through this, and then after that we'll have probably time for one more caller from there, and then we'll wrap up the show. So, all right, now Tom, I'm going to mute you, and we can bring you back on after the air. Might as well stay consistent and just
fine by me.
Keep you around. Cool. Okay, thanks, dude. Okay, so I'm just muting you for now. All right, so if everybody just wants to get comfortable, and just have your hands either gently on your thighs or just interlace with your fingers in your lap. We'll just begin with the breath as per usual. So nice, gentle inhale through the nose. And out through the nose. Just continue this, allowing yourself to find that rhythm. Now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the concept, and I'll introduce a preliminary scenario. But where we go beyond that is up to you. So imagine that you're opening up your eyes, and when you do, you see that you're in a nice open field. It's sunny out, there's grass around you. Long grass. So with the intention being to use our senses to be able to develop the tactile, the audible, the sight, and the smell within our conscious mind and within our dreams, let's practice doing that right now. So knowing that we're in an open field, just take a moment to feel the slight breeze against your skin. You can feel the sun casting its rays down from up high above, and that warmth on your skin as well. And take a deep breath within your meditation and also within your imagination. And smell the fresh air. Smells like summer or spring, the grass, the trees. And now with grass next to you, let's gently walk forward. So whether you have shoes on or not is It's up to you. So as you walk forward, feel the ground underneath your feet and gently brush your hand against the blades of grass that are up at about your waist. And feel that very specific tactile sensation of the grass brushing against your fingers. Continue to walk on this path. As you move further along it, you begin to enter into a forest. Off in the distance, you can hear the sound of running water. Listen closely to it. Amongst the sound of the running water, you can hear the sounds of birds, even insects, and other animals. Continue to walk towards the water. And as you do, you find a small little beach next to a river. And the water's moving nice and slowly. So if you haven't yet, remove your shoes and walk into the sand of the beach with your bare feet. And feel that sensation of the sand underneath your toes. And walk forward a little bit more and allow the water to move up around your ankles. And feel the coldness of the water around your feet. Now from here, where you can choose to go is up to you. You can continue to hang around by this stream, or you can walk back into the forest, or maybe you can explore some of the berries on a bush nearby, individually tasting them. Continue to flex your imagination, understanding that in doing so, we are working the conscious muscles of our mind, and do so with the intention to bring this practice into your meditation and into your dreams as you practice creating the reality firmly within your mind, making it as real as can be. Continue to do so. Continue to create your reality using your 5 senses. And allow yourself to go where you need to go and to see what you need to see. Gently allow yourself to once again return to your breath. Allow yourself, when you are ready, to slowly bring your awareness back to your physical body. Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, open up your eyes to the room around you. So there you go, guys. So if you just did that, if you just properly partook in that, you kind of experienced dreaming while awake, so to speak. So it's kind of one way of thinking about it. And again, that's really just using our imagination, because if that's what we're talking about here tonight, we're talking about dreams. Dreams are the projection of our mind, and if we learn to control our mind, we will learn to control what it is that we bring with us into the dream space. So keep that in mind, that you could imagine up a scenario very vividly, very, very vividly, using that technique that we just used, and take that with you into a dream as you're falling asleep, and try to maintain an awareness within your conscious mind as you transition. And now, I know I had mentioned earlier in the show, there's this phase, there's this whole visceral sensation of when this split occurs, where we sort of move into that astral state, and it kind of feels like you're sort of sinking into your bed, or it can feel like an electrical sensation, or sort of like a pull. So become aware with that sensation. Take notice of it if it's something that may be happening to you more, if you're new to it, so to speak. Take notice of that, because that sensation is your body beginning to transition. It's your body beginning to fall asleep, and your mind beginning to move into the astral. And another quick tip, if I can leave you with another quick tip, and then I'm going to bring on one more person onto the show, and we'll just another reminder. We do have the after party, which we'll be doing again afterwards, and the link for that we posted up on the Facebook page, so facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio. Go there on Facebook. Even if you don't have Facebook, you can still see the page, and it will also be posted in the live chat as well. So the Google Hangout after party is just a chance for us to continue this conversation. So we'll continue it on the topic of dreams tonight. So anybody who's in the live chat, please feel free to check that out. It's through Google, and the link will also be available on YouTube, and that's recorded as well. So we'll be around for that. I'm not sure how long I'll be around for that. I'll have to take care of some technical stuff in the meantime. But what I was going to say, so just one sort of final tip in terms of dream technique. When you notice that you're falling asleep and you have an itch, don't itch it. That itch is there for your body to check if your mind's asleep. If you can be aware of that itch and not respond to it, it tricks the body into thinking that the mind's asleep, and then it begins that transition process into that deeper sleep state. So don't scratch yourself if you've had that slight itch when you're dreaming, because that's just there as a mechanism to check whether or not you're actually awake. So if you ignore it, it's sort of reroutes the process. It's kind of like hacking your own mind, so to speak. So, okay, now, again, ParadigmShiftCentral.com, that's all the information that you need. And stay tuned, because we got some big shows coming up in the future. In particular, next week, actually, I think, as soon as next week, we're going to have a man by the name of David Yurth. David and YURTH, and here's a video of him that I'll post in the show notes as well on YouTube, and we'll talk a lot about kind of consciousness from a scientific point of view, so to speak, and as well as some idea of some suppressed technologies, and that will be really interesting. And after that, later on, February 2nd, I believe, is sort of the tentative date, but it sounds like it's pretty solid. We're going to have the female rapper Keely Mays on the show, and she's actually that's actually going to be a big one. She's actually got lots of views on YouTube. She's one of if you read on her website, she's one of the most listened to female rap artists, and she raps about consciousness. So it's really cool, and I'm really happy that she's going to be on the show later for that. So I'll be in February, so keep an eye open for that. That's going to be a really big one. So in the meantime, I'm just going to bring on Dre. So Dre, if you're listening to this, I know you're going to probably be joining us in the Hangout as well. well. I'm going to bring you on, and we only have 90 seconds, but if you just want to mention something real quick that we can fit into the show, and if we bleed a little over into the record time, that's no problem. And just shout out to Tom. Tom, thanks for being on the show. Much appreciated. And we'll add your information to the show notes as well if anybody would like to add you. So I apologize for not being able to bring you on. Just time and space, we're still working with it. So Dre, I'm going to bring you on, and we got less than 90 seconds, so get ready to share something. Hello, Dre, you can hear us?
Greetings, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. All right, so microphone's yours. Spit it.
Well, I was going to say a bunch of info about dreams and whatnot, but I guess I'm just going to go ahead and give some tips. Don't eat 3 hours prior to going to sleep. Try to have a meal that has some heavy leafy greens, no oils, no fats, no cheese. And basically try to meditate in the dark before going to sleep. About like at least 15 minutes, just like have a decent pace of breathing. Inhale 3 seconds, hold 3 seconds, exhale 3 seconds, and just try to keep it at a steady pace. That's pretty much it.
Cool. All right, man. Well, did you enjoy the episode today?
It was a great episode.
Awesome. Yeah, and reminders to everyone listening to this, feel free to share the Blog Talk link immediately. And also, like us on iTunes. That's actually a new thing. We are on iTunes now, and I'll post a link for that in the show notes. And if you can give us a review on iTunes, that will help boost us on iTunes, and then more people will be able to find out about the show, and I'll remind you guys about this. So, ParadigmShiftCentral.com, Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio. And if you're around, feel free to join us in the Google Hangout, which will be happening within the next few minutes. I just got to get it set up and stuff. With that said, thank you everyone who has been tuned into the show tonight, and join us again next week for another consciousness shifting episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. I'm your co-host, Skull Babylon. Add me on Facebook, Skull Babylon, and YouTube, Skull Babylon. So until next time, we'll see you in the future.